I'm sorry, I've been muted this whole time. Thank you for your patience. Hello, I'm Elise. Welcome to my tea table. Thank you so much for joining me today. I guess I have to explain everything I just said before. I keep doing that. I keep muting myself right when I go online, and it's such a shame. But I'm here now. We're here now. Let's get started. Let's start the discussion. So last Friday I did my first Friday night live stream of the year. It was the first Friday of the year, and I really enjoyed it because it was Friday night and I was talking about the benefits of the tea lifestyle. And I figured I want to continue that. I kind of like that theme for this year. Friday night, spending time thinking about researching and looking into the benefits of a tea lifestyle. So today's focus is going to be on the health benefits in regards to the brain specifically. I know we throw out a lot of words like L-theanine and caffeine and antioxidants when we talk about the health benefits of tea, and those benefits definitely address all parts of the body. I mean, ultimately, the medicine of tea is that it equalizes our chi and it balances our energies within our body so that we can be less anxious, we can rest better, and in those two things right there alone, we can build the strengths to fend off a lot of harm that can be done to our body through anything. I mean, really, so much. There's so much. So what I'm gonna do is like a lit review. So that's like something that a research student or a grad student would do in preparation for doing research. So I'm going to use Google Scholar. This will be a kind of fun activity that we can do together. And of course, as usual, I am very much interested in this being an interactive and engaging co-learning experience. Seems that everything's fine. My internet is running fine. That's another reason why I've been trying to do the streaming at nighttime, because my internet's been dropping in like the late afternoons, and that's usually when I'm doing my streaming. So I'm testing out streaming at different times of the day and seeing how the strength of my internet holds up. And unfortunately, I don't have a lot of options where I am here in Las Vegas. We're a big fan, business-wise, of monopolies here in Las Vegas. So it means you don't get a lot of choices. Oh, this is not Tef. Hello, happy Friday evening or Saturday morning to you. I am so delighted to see you. Good morning. I hope your sleep schedule is doing you good. I see you're up nice and early in the morning on a Saturday. I chose this music. I'm playing classical music today specifically because we're talking about the brain. And it's been said by some that classical music does the brain good. So we'll be listening to some nice, relaxing classical music. I know this is interesting because, after all, it is a Friday night and we should be having a good party. And maybe we are. We are having a good party, but I am going to continue this series of inspiration I have of streaming positive, wholesome, educational, calming, relaxing content on Friday nights, contrary to a crazy party to get us all lit for So Tef says, no, it does plants good. We humans fall asleep to it. That's correct. And Tef, if you want to fall asleep, or anybody that's watching want to fall asleep, I am going to consider my job a success for tonight. Specifically if we're talking about brain health, because sleep does a body good, it does a brain good. It's probably the most powerful medicine that we can keep. So if my stream puts you to sleep, it's good medicine. It's very good medicine. Tef, how are you doing, man? I'm happy to see you in this stream. A couple streams ago, I was actually mentioning how I was having Tef withdrawals, so it's good to have you back. Thank you so much. And today, of course, I'm going to be drinking some tea, and this will be in theme with the research that I'll be doing today around brain health and tea. And all of the research pretty much says that green tea is the best for brain health, as well as several of the other functions that I'll be talking about today. And it's probably true. It's probably true that green tea is the best for those things. But there's something else to keep in mind when you're looking at research, right? So research is done in universities by students. And it costs a lot of money. It costs a ridiculous amount of money. And universities don't really sit on that kind of money. So the research is typically funded by grants, which is nice when it's funded by grants, but a lot of times it is directly funded by corporate interests. So if you apply that concept to the research of tea, who would be the corporate interests that are most interested in trying to find the good stuff in tea? Is the more mature green tea industry, specifically in Japan. A lot of the really groundbreaking research around green tea has been done in Japan. Japan has the longest running history of green tea consumption, so it is no surprise that is happening. So the reason why I said that about research and about funding and about how things happen is that you have to think about that as you're looking at the research, because it means that there could be other angles, other perspectives that the research has yet to even touch on because the interests have not funded it yet. And so that, of course, is an ultimate corporate goal of mine, is to get involved and influence that kind of research. And I really hope that this platform and the content that's created here can be kind of a seed of that influence to happen. So yeah, that's the caveat there. Tef says he's doing good, trying to catch up on some things that you didn't do over the holidays. Well, I hope it was worth it, Tef. I hope your holidays were worth it. I would say that mine were. So yeah, before I start reading these articles, I'm going to start drinking some tea. I'm feeling inspired also to go live on Reddit, just because I do like on Reddit how I get a lot of questions there. And so maybe before I do a deep dive into these articles, I can see if there's any questions that can help guide where to take this conversation. Of course, Tef, if you have questions, I'm always happy to answer your questions as well. Let's see. This music is nice. I found a great website that plays all royalty-free classical music recordings. And for the most part, musical recordings are pretty much royalty-free anyway, because the copyrights don't last that long. But I'm gonna do this more often. I don't play classical music too often on my stream, and I'm liking this. I'm liking how I'm feeling, and I haven't even started to drink the tea yet, so that's a good thing. So Tef, it was 100% worth it. Good. You just need to do catch up. How is your job search going? Or I didn't even know if you were searching for a job. I know you had the internship, and that had been completed. So what's next for you, Tef? I'd be interested in knowing what's going on with you. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move this to the other side. I didn't prepare well before I came on, obviously, but it's all good. It's all good. It's Friday night. No one's complaining. I'm really excited to drink this tea I'm about to drink too, because it is gifted from. Oh, Tef says with everything closed down, it's not going well. Yeah, and that's you work in the hospitality industry, so yeah, I understand your pain, Tef. I wish you the best. Ooh. I wish you the best, Tef. A lot of people having struggles. I had I had a productive yet kind of sad meeting with a good friend earlier today, and just kind of hearing, his personal struggles, what's going on. He also works in I shouldn't say he works in the hospitality industry. He's a legend in the hospitality industry. And even he is, I don't think he's completely lost hope. He's definitely faced some struggles over the past year. And excuse me while I'm out of frame for a second, guys. I have my reverse title thing for Reddit there. I always do that. Oh, we need a little disco dance, a little disco with classical music. Never did anybody wrong. Okay, so let's see. I'll get my teapot in here. Hello, welcome to my tea room. We're going to talk about brain health and tea today. I'm going to get started brewing up some green tea because as far as I know, green tea is the healthiest for brain health. There's several reasons, but the two main compounds and the two main things that we're going to talk about today is going to be L-theanine and EGCG. Those are the two main compounds that are found in abundance in green tea, specifically Japanese green tea. For several reasons. I mean, the Japanese have been doing it for a very, very long time, so they know what's up, they know what's going on. But also, the Japanese have this concept of kaizen. Kaizen is a concept that means to always make better, always do better. And so when it came to green tea, they spent all of the generation after generation just continuously improving the quality, the health, and the goodness, of their green tea. So green tea from Japan, it's pretty darn good for the brain. Today I'm going to be drinking some very fresh. This is brand new tea. Well, obviously it's not from this year, but it was gifted to me for the new year. The Japanese tea grower network that I work with sent me a gift of soba noodles and fresh green tea. So I just cracked this one open. See how cute that is? I'll show you how cute. I love this. This is like the cutest little thing. The little, this is like the ultimate Japanese tea girl symbol. And so the Japanese word for tea is cha, right? Chinese word for tea is cha, and Korean word for tea is cha. But in Japan, I lived in this small tea growing village in Kyoto, Japan, and the city had a mascot. When you'd go to community fairs or community markets, they have this mascot and a costume. And she was also, on the manhole covers all over town. It was so cool. And her name was Cha-Cha-Chan. So that's TT. And then Chan is you've heard in Japanese when someone says san after a name. I don't know, I'm blanking, but on a name. I don't know, Sugimoto-san or Kuni-san, who was my friend who sent this to me. So that's it's an added ending on a name to add respect to the name. It's Mr. It's Mr. But Chan is the name that you add to young girls. It's kind of a cute little thing. So Cha-Cha-Chan, this would be like a Cha-Cha-Chan. So cute. Kawaii, that's the proper Japanese term. I'm sorry, Pizza Daddy. I'm not going to share that. All right, Reddit. You have questions about tea health benefits, specifically around the brain. I'm talking about brain health today. Please bring them in. One Chen. Who's that? What is that, Tef? One Chen. All right, so before I start actually brewing the tea, I'm going to prime all of my wares. And this is a practice that I do with pretty much all of my teas. You guys got a little obstruction from my tea pets in front, but that's fine. That's fine. So I'm gonna be using what's called a kyusu for brewing this green tea. This is a Japanese teaware. It's like the quintessential Japanese teaware. This is a tokoname kyusu. Tokoname is one of the oldest kilns in Japan and is a very famous place for getting artisanal, really nice teawares. As you can see on the inside, there's like a filter that will, hold back the tea whenever I decant the tea when I'm steeping it. And this filter runs all the way around on the inside of the pot. Now, if this was a really good quality teapot, like artisanally handmade teapot, it would not have this metal grating here, but it's okay that it has that. This is very standard commercial, way of filtering the leaf out, but the artisanal teapots that you should expect to spend at least a couple of $100s on will have the filter built in with clay. So with the same clay that they use to build the pot. Oh, I see. So I'm One-chan. Okay. Chai sensei. I don't know about that. Cha sensei. Ochas. Yeah. So in Japan, they actually have a, I shouldn't say internationally, nationally recognized title and certification for a tea master. So in respect of that, that institution, I would not feel right calling myself a cha sensei. Okay, so I'm gonna prime the wares. I have my water at about 175 degrees. It's not boiling, and that's okay. Like, I'm just trying to make all of my tea wares warm right now. In addition, you really don't want to be brewing green tea at such a high temperature because you may over extract the caffeine, which will give the tea a very bitter, astringent character. And we want to enjoy this, like the most health benefit tea, and this is what I tell my clients all the time. So in case you don't know, I run a business called Tealet. I'm out of a warehouse in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we import small batch, high quality tea. Oh, Brian, brain health for Brian. Thank you for coming today. Much love, pure aloha. Thank you for joining, Brian. Hope you learned something today. I exclusively import small batch high quality handmade teas from all around the world, and I supply those to tea shops, tea businesses, restaurants, hotels, anybody who's looking for tea in bulk. And so I get a lot of clients that ask me what health benefits should I share with my clients. People go into their tea shop and say, oh, I saw Dr. Phil or Dr. Oz talked about you got to drink tea, it's healthy. What tea is good for weight loss, or what tea is good for this? And so my clients are always asking me, what should I tell people about the health benefits of tea? And as we'll quickly learn today, as we start doing this literature review, there is an immense amount of health benefits to tea that you can list off, and you can reference all this different research. But those benefits are not really going to be seen until you have a lifestyle of drinking that tea daily, right? So, if someone's coming in looking to attach themselves to a tea for some type of health benefit, like it's some kind of medicine, and they're expecting some type of result from it, if that result does not come to them within a week, within a month, they're gonna assume that it's not working. And if they're drinking the tea like it's medicine and not enjoying it, it's going to be very easy for them to quit the lifestyle, and they'll never see the health benefits of it. So what I tell my clients to do all the time is just really focus that the best health benefit of tea is that you're drinking it every day. And to drink it every day means that you need to really be enjoying it. So the key of having good tea that's going to be a good, healthy part of your lifestyle is making sure that you're drinking tea that you like. And I'm pretty sure I'll be liking this tea that I'm drinking now. So I'm drinking this water that I just ran through all of my teaware. I don't know, 5 Max, is that a joke? Is that a joke? You're welcome to share the punchline of your joke. Okay. Thank Thank you, 5Max. I'm going to share that with the group because that's a good one. So why do people from England say that they're... I don't get it. I don't, how are you supposed to say that? I don't understand the joke. I thought the punchline was funny, but I don't know if I understand the joke. I don't know how to, I don't do accents. You know, I'm me, and that's all I know. So any joke that requires an accent, I'm gonna kill it. So I killed your joke already. Sorry, 5Max. Sorry. I got jokes, so maybe later I'll figure out a better joke. Say British without the T. It's a hard one to say. Like brie-ish, like the cheese, like full of cheese. That sounds delightful. Why are they brie-ish? Because they drank the tea. All right. And the classical music is playing today because we're talking about brain health. And I heard sometime that classical music is good for the brain. So we're enjoying some nice, peaceful classical music. And please, don't worry. If you fall asleep, you are welcome. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of tea into my Kyushu now. It's all warmed. And the purpose of warming all of the Teawares is just so that the tea isn't shocked once I put the warm water in with the tea. So it's not like a cold environment that shocks the tea when I start to brew it. So my water is again at about 170 degrees. So it's not boiling, but it's not freezing. I mean, you can see the steam coming up from it. So it's definitely still warm. And I'll just do a quick brew. You know, with tea, especially with good quality tea, you don't have to brew it for very long. You know, I know that like that box of tea bags that you have in the back of your pantry that you haven't touched for 5 years says on the instructions that you should steep it for 5 minutes. That's not good. You know, you don't need to do that. Like I'm probably gonna steep this maybe for only like 40 seconds. You really don't have to steep it for very long. And I'm gonna be able to re-steep it. So I'm actually gonna get a lot of tea out of just that little bit of leaf. You know, and so that's another thing. I get a lot of questions on like the value of tea. Now, if you visit my website, as you can see right there at the bottom of the screen, you may look at the prices and say, well, that's a different price than what I'm used to seeing at the grocery store. And that's because of the quality. And, you know, it's not just like wine. You know, you think about wine, it's like, okay, I can buy this $10 bottle of wine or this $100 bottle of wine. The difference is the quality and like how you're gonna value and appreciate that wine as you drink it. But like the literal quantity of the wine is equal. It's the same, right? But with tea, it's different. So like you may say, you know, I've got like 1 ounce of leaf from the grocery store versus 1 ounce of leaf like what we're about to drink right here. And say it's the same weight, it's the same amount, but when it comes to the actual brewing, because you can re-infuse the leaf over and over again, you actually get, wow, this color of this tea is incredible. I can't wait to show you guys. You get far more out of the tea when it's higher quality. So if you really calculate the price per cup, however you want to calculate it, you end up finding out that the higher quality tea that you may pay more for per ounce is actually more cost efficient. I'm just pulling out a little white paper here to show you the color. Look at that. Wow, that's incredible. Let's see it here. So we got a little, it's a bit more green than what you see in the camera here. This is a little yellowing, but green tea should be like yellow in color. It should be yellow in color. Let's see this. Maybe you can see the color better this way. See how green it is? Beautiful. And so another thing with quality tea is you want it to be like clear. You know, like I know this has got a color to it and it's got, you know, a radiance to it, but you want to be able to see through it, you know, and there's like a bit of murkiness to this just from all of the what's called like the pubescence. So that's like the early harvest little hairs that grow on the tea. If you are a cannabis consumer, you may know this as the keef. And you know, those are the trichomes. Those are the little, you know, little young hairs that grow just on the shoot, the little buds of the tea leaf. And so that's what we're getting in our tea here. So now I get to enjoy. It's good. It's thick. That's the only word I can use to describe this. It's thick. Thick is in now. You know, thick wasn't in when I was in high school, but it's in now. So that's a good thing. Substance. Something to hold on to, you know? I know that might be hard to understand. I'm talking about a beverage. I'm talking about a liquid right now. But like, I'm talking about even like my taste buds and my whole palate. It's like, it's holding on to something. It's like something of like substance and is like pillows, you know, like soft and warm and just melty at the same time. That right there is an indicator of quality, and it's also an indicator of some of these health benefits for the brain that I'm about to do a lit review on and look at the science behind it. And that's amino acids, right? So amino acids, those are the building blocks of proteins. There's a lot of them in here, and a lot of them are very good. And there's one specifically, outside of like the amino acids that I'm feeling in my mouth, on my palate, that's making that substance, that thick, soupy, brothy, umami is the Japanese word for it. You know, I know they always say umami is like our fifth taste sense, but when I spent time in Japan, and I've even seen the idea of it transfer over from China and Taiwan as well, umami is much more than just on your taste buds. It's not like a sweet, salty, bitter thing. You know, they say it's savory, but it's more than just savory. It's more than just the taste of like MSG and mushrooms. It is a feeling. It is like this fullness feeling where everything feels coated and thick. That's amino acids. That's literal like building blocks of protein that are like interacting with your palate. And there's one specific amino acid that affects the brain. And it's the magic of tea, and it's why tea is so popular, is L-theanine. L-theanine. It's the nootropics of the gods. I don't know, you've heard this term nootropics. Nootropics is a kind of category of supplements that's really taken off in popularity over the past 5 years that helps you focus, it helps you have energy. Look it up, Nootropics, Nootropics. They're quite pricey if you put yourself on a regimen of nootropics. And you know what? They're all right here. It's all right here. You don't have to take those pills. You can get it naturally from the tea. Does tea actually do anything to you? Yeah, I'm talking about it right now. So the nootropics, this L-theanine that I'm talking about, it works with the caffeine. So tea, Camellia sinensis, that's the plant that all tea comes from. It contains caffeine, but it also contains L-theanine. And the L-theanine changes the caffeine's reaction in the body from being like a jolt of energy and then a drop like we usually see with coffee or sodas or energy drinks, to being a sustained, you know, long release of energy that's mental focus and body relaxation. Pretty good for the brain. And this is the reason why, of the 5,000 years, or I don't know, there's some debate. It's either 2,000 to 5,000 years since tea was first discovered by man. Oh, Bitcoin, you want to come say hi? Hi, everybody. Yes, the dog always gets priority to interrupt anything that I'm saying. Don't worry, I'll pick up where I left off. But this is Bitcoin. He came here to say hi. He loves you guys. He loves all of you guys. What about herbal teas? Nope. Herbal teas, nope. Nope. Herbal teas, they have different benefits to them, but nothing like tea. So tea, the word tea or cha or chai or shai or any of the list of words for tea, like green tea that I'm having here. The Camellia sinensis plant is the origin of tea. That plant is the magical plant that produces the caffeine and the L-theanine. It is the only bioavailable source of L-theanine in the world. I mean, there's a mushroom, but it's toxic to us. So, you know, these like nootropic supplement companies that are making all of these brain drugs, they extract it all from tea. That's it, tea. Now you say herbal tea, you may be talking about chamomile or lavender or hibiscus or any other thing. Those are not tea. Those are chamomile, or those are lemongrass. They're infusions. And actually the proper technical term for that is tisane, Tisane. So it's okay if you call it a tea. You know, in American history, we kind of threw the tea out the boat and said, we don't like tea for many, 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 many years. And so now that we're starting to introduce tea into our culture, we have a different definition for it. So it's okay, you can call it tea. But the technical term is tisane. And it has different benefits than tea. But I'm talking about tea today, specifically green tea and brain health. So yeah, this is Bitcoin. Shout out to all the Bitcoiners. Yep. Woo-hoo! He's such a cutie. Bitcoin, you want to sit here? I'll get you Jordan if you sit here. All right. He's gonna join us for a little tea. So yeah, if you've ever wondered why when you drink tea versus coffee, your body feels differently. People always say, oh yeah, I can drink tea all day, but I can't drink coffee all day because it makes me sick. You know, it's too much energy or my energy crashes. That's the reason why. It's strictly because of the theanine. Strictly because of the theanine. Well, bitty boy. He's got his jacket on. We went for a walk before. Oh, you're so cute. We went for a walk and it was cold. It's a little chilly here in Vegas today. How's it where you guys are? Everybody keeping warm? Everybody keeping warm. It's really important. You can drink tea. Drink tea to keep warm. Aw. Thanks for joining. Happy Friday evening. Sweet tea. So sweet tea is an interesting one because I mean, it's got sugar in it, so we all know. All right, you ready to get down? We all know what sugar does to us, which is okay. I love sugar. Really, who doesn't? But the thing with putting sugar in your tea is that typically tea that is needing sugar, like if it's too bitter or if it's too astringent, tea can have the tea should have you add sugar and it makes it taste good. So essentially that's the deal with sweet tea. Like sweet tea, milk tea, chai, like the way that we know chai, like Indian chai, or when you go to the coffee shop and they have like a chai latte for you, like that's typically having milk and sugar in it. And the reason why they do that is because the tea is shitty. You know, it's bitter, it's astringent, and it needs the milk and sugar to cut through it. Sweet tea as well. And so, I mean, regardless of like any of the human trafficking or the indentured labor or any of that stuff that's involved in the making of that type of tea, there is like a health benefit issue outside of the sugar. And that's like when the tea is bitter and astringent like that, it means that it's really tannic. And I learned earlier this week that tannins denature amino acids. So there's going to be less L-theanine in that type of tea. So sweet tea is like, it's not healthy. But if you enjoy it, Like I enjoy a milkshake every now and then, go for it. You know, but it's not It's not healthy. It's definitely not healthy. All right, so I got a good question here. I'm gonna address, what's your website? My website's right here on the bottom of the page. Can you see that? Can you see it at the bottom? teaanditspeople.com. I also have another website you can visit that's a little bit easier to remember, which is tealet.com. Tealet.com. And that's the wholesale website. So if you have a business and you're looking for like buying tea in bulk for your restaurant or your coffee shop, you'd go to tealet.com and sign up for a wholesale account. But if you're just looking to order some samples, try out some teas, see how you like them, as well as learn the story of the farmers. So all of the teas that we import are exclusively sourced from small family farms. Oh man, this tea is good. I'm gonna brew up some more. All right, we got a question here. Any significant difference in the end product by using a tea ball versus bag tea? Yeah. A lot of difference. And even more of a difference between the tea ball, the bagged tea, and the teapot. And the main difference outside of tea bags, like the business of making tea bags, you know, they use these big machines big machine that you can fill like tons of tea into, that all pushes all the tea into this tiny little tea bag at the end. So it's like a series of augers that will like push the tea all the way down into the tea bag. And in that process, the augers will like crush and tear up all of the tea. And so you can't put good quality tea into a tea bagging machine. So that's the first thing. If you're using like one of those tea balls at home, one of those metal tea balls, that's cool because like if you have good quality tea, like what I'm drinking here, you can put that into the ball. So at least you can put better quality tea into the ball. But the overarching thing I'm trying to say here is that in the brewing itself, like when you're in the bag or you're in the ball, those are small confined spaces. And so even if you have good quality tea in there, it's not gonna have the room to like really open it up and be able to like dance like it is here. Thanks, Brian. I'm digging this playlist too. This is oh, you can't see inside. But you can see there's plenty of room. There's plenty of room for all the tea leaf to dance in the water and fully release its flavor. Someone asked earlier how to not make tea so bitter. Great question. And you know, since I'm drinking green tea, it's an even more appropriate question. The thing that's cool about these Kyusus is at the end, you can like hold it like this and you can give it a good squeeze and you can get every last drop out. That's the good stuff right there, the last drops. They call that the golden drops. Tef, get out of my stream if you don't like this music, Tef. You think this is ingrediology or something? You gotta make some song requests? Nah, homie, don't play that. We're working on our brains. We are trying to flex our brain muscles. And I've heard classical music is good for that. So I am drinking a sencha. This is a Japanese green tea, very fresh sencha. Oh, you can't see the full thing. I'm sorry about that. Thank you. Does that help? Bring it up. teaanditspeople.com. teaanditspeople.com. It is funny with the disco ball. Oh, Tef, I did miss you. I even missed you when you weren't commenting earlier. I was missing you. I was starting to have withdrawals. But yeah, my disco ball, it's me. You know, usually when I'm streaming on Twitch, so you can also find me on Twitch through Tea. I get to have a lot of fun with the green screen. And the disco ball was an addition from New Year's Eve, and I just haven't taken it down because it makes me feel good. So it tastes like green tea, right? So when I talk about more like matcha, it does taste like matcha, but matcha is a more intense flavor because it's the whole leaf, like the whole green leaf that you would be drinking. They grind it into a powder, so whenever you mix your bowl of matcha and drink it, you are taking in all of the leaf. So that's why it's a more intense flavor. This is going to be, you know, a more light flavor. So I say green tea because like the taste on here is not so important. What's more important is the texture. And I was talking about that earlier with the amino acids, kind of that feeling of depth, of something for my palate to grab onto. And that feeling is umami. And so that's what it tastes like. It tastes like umami. It almost tastes like a mushroom broth that has some like fresh cut grass in it and some seaweed. That's what it tastes like. It's funny. I don't mean to verbally hit anybody. I'm just trying to bring some excellence to the world. Yeah, I love my brain today. It's feeling good, feeling strong. So let's talk about L-theanine because it's starting to hit me. I'm starting to feel it. You may start to notice that my language and my words are starting to get faster and faster and faster, but my ideas and my thoughts are very well articulated and I know exactly what I want to say to you guys, and this is what we call being tea drunk. And it's a good thing, you know, because being drunk means oh man, it means you lose it, you know? Sometimes you've been drunk before, you're not really connected with what's going on. But like when you're tea drunk, it's like the opposite of being drunk. It's like you're super connected with what's going on. Your brain is just like charged, feeling great. You feel smart, you feel focused. And yeah, that's what I was saying before Bitcoin interrupted me. I was telling you guys. So tea has a L-theanine, always for the win, Brian. Brian knows what's up, L-theanine. Oh, Bitcoin. Sorry, Bitcoin is bothering me. He's jumping on my leg looking for some attention. Okay, so for the 2,000 to 5,000 years of history since man discovered the Camellia sinensis plant and started to make tea, it's debatable of how long ago that was. But of that time, the majority of that time, tea was exclusively grown, processed, and consumed by monks because of the L-theanine. Like tea was not this like, you know, big market thing that, you know, everybody was drinking. It was like for a really select group of people, and they were using it as a meditation tool. So this L-theanine and caffeine, it would help them stay alert and awake for their meditations, but then it would also, you know, relax their bodies so they wouldn't be anxious and have their ideas all over the place. So it like, even though like my brain feels like it's turned on and it's going, I'm like focused on one clear path, one clear thought, and not a million of them, right? And so some people say, can I drink tea and then sleep? Or I can't drink tea past a certain time because then I can't sleep later on. You know, with practice, and you know, depending on your tolerance to caffeine and theanine as well, everybody is different. But with practice, you can actually channel that energy to like meditate and to like really focus on something and cut out all of the anxieties and all of the other, you know, worries or anything that you have going on in your head so that you can like calm your mind to put yourself into a restful state, which for a lot of people is the hardest thing about sleeping well. You know, it's like I have all the time in the world to sleep, but as soon as I lay down in my bed, I have like a million things in my head. And like, it takes me like 3 hours to finally fall asleep. Drinking tea may actually energize you, but it also may help clear out a lot of that mental junk before you can go to sleep. thank you. I'm happy to know that this is just as or more entertaining as horse racing. Thank you. The music's getting more lively. This is good. Oh, Bitcoin's twerking now. You twerking, boy? He does a thing where he likes to twerk. Oh, I'm feeling good. Feeling good. Ready for a nice weekend? I hope you guys are all too. Trisha Flower, I like your name. I like that a lot. So yeah, monks had the privilege of drinking tea, and it wasn't until about like 300 years ago until tea started to it wasn't until about 300 years ago that tea started to be consumed and available first by the aristocracy. So it was first like the emperor. So like beyond the monks, like when tea first started to be, you know, enjoyed and discovered by other people, it was like tribute. You know, tea was exclusively made as tribute for the emperor. And then slowly, as the industry started to grow, then tea started to become available to the aristocracy around the emperor. And it was the British, you know, the British that drank all the tea, that really exploded the tea industry and really turned tea into a common man's drink, and commodified it, and to, you know, a certain definition, colonized it as well. And that's a whole other discussion. I'm sure I'll come on Reddit one day and I will exclusively talk about the history on that, because it's fascinating. But yeah, tea was like, for most of its history, just monks, you know, humble monks just outside the monastery, growing tea bushes, making tea in the monastery. What is going on, Bitcoin? You want to come up? You want some cuddles. That's it. That's all. All right, Brian, I like that. You've just coined something great. Lit tea. So lit tea is like L-theanine, L-theanine, lit tea. Because we're getting litty over here, drinking tea, getting lit. It's a Friday night, see, we can party. The disco ball is extremely appropriate. There were wars over tea, that is true. Yeah, it's very good that you know that. The Opium Wars. So, you know, the Opium Wars, there was two of them, 2 Opium Wars. They weren't about opium. I mean, yeah, they were about opium, but the reason why the opium was an issue was because of the tea. Yeah, it's a fascinating thing. It's a fascinating thing. There's a lot of really great like YouTube videos and content you can find around that. And there's also a tea subreddit. And people are always sharing stories and links, articles around that kind of stuff. Which is kind of cool. Go join the tea subreddit. Ooh, it's good tea, huh, Bitcoin? It's good tea. All right, I think I'm ready. I'm ready to start doing this lit review. Get a little smart. Oh, thank you for the hugs. Oh, thank you. This is Bitcoin, by the way. Bitcoin the dog. He's our CFO. Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm giving the hugs to the dog. He loves them. Yeah, he's our office dog. I got him back in 2013, and when we got him, we were struggling. You know, we were just a startup, brand new, and we were having trouble like convincing people to buy tea because people didn't really know about tea. They didn't know what was going on, the programmer that was working for us, our coder, he said, you know, we can accept Bitcoin as payment. Let's try it out. And so we ended up being one of the first Bitcoin merchants in the world. And that ended up saving the company, you know, being able to market to that community and give Bitcoiners, you know, something to support. And so when we got him for the office, the whole team decided, let's call him Bitcoin. Bitcoin's important to us now. And so that's his name. So he's our head of security and he's our CFO. And he's at peace. He is definitely at peace. Happy boy. It is a Friday night, Brian. Happy Friday night. Happy Friday night to everybody. Yep. This is a Friday night. Appreciate you being here on your Friday night. Hope I can help bring some clarity and focus to end out your week so you can have an enjoyable weekend. Because, you know, we're in a new year now. You know, like I'm not really going to try to push any resolutions or any pressure that we've got to be a better person this year. But, you know, it is the start of a new year and we can start new rituals, I guess is the right word to use. So I'm doing a ritual of spending Friday night with you guys, talking about how, you know, the tea lifestyle can make it better for us. It can make it better for everybody. So, you know, something, you know, I'm going to dive deep into the brain stuff and on Reddit. I'm about to go off live. So if you want to continue that discussion, you can follow us on Twitch. I'll just like put my Twitch. These are my things here. You can see all my links. See my Twitch right there. TLetT, twitch.tv/TLetT. That's where I stream. I stream there all throughout the week. You can follow us there. And I will continue to stream. And I'm doing a lit review of different research papers talking about different, you know, mostly brain repair. You know, everybody always talking about like how tea affects, you know, your brain focus and your meditation and your anxiety and just like your physical health. But I actually want to see if there's been any research on actually repairing things and helping rebuild things. And so I will be doing that on Twitch once, no. Want Bitcoin? But, you know, so I'm talking about the L-theanine. Oh, and Tep is here to bully me in a smart way. Because it's his morning. It's not Friday night for him. He's Saturday morning in Denmark. Yeah, so head on over to Twitch. Have fun with us there. So the L-theanine, right? It causes this mental focus and this body relaxation, which is great to help us feel good within us and find rest and like relieve anxiety. But like when we talk about, you know, a lot of the other challenges that we're facing in the world right now. Oh. Delightful, delightful. Let's see. What should we listen to? What should we listen to? Organ. I don't know about organ. I don't know if I can handle some organs. Yeah, let's see. Singing and piano. This is supposed to be relaxing. Hey, Bitcoin, quiet. No. See, that's our security system. He heard something outside. So yeah, like a lot of the issues that we're dealing with, like outside of our health, is like in our communities right now. Like getting along with our neighbors and being civilized, and you know, just like that's a big issue. And being in a state of mental focus and body relaxation actually helps with that, because when you're like at work or you're like in your community or you're at school and you're interacting with people, if you are all in that same state of mental focus and body relaxation, it is the optimal state for brainstorming, for empathy, for innovation actually. So yeah, there's been a lot of research on that. You know, what I find particular is that like when you're in that state, and like even if you hate, like let's say office politics, right? There's always politics of like, oh, I can't stand this guy because he did this, and this. And then when you're in a meeting, a lot of times those what do you call that? Those things that you think about your coworker is gonna stop you from like listening to them, like really listening to them, because you probably hate them or you think that they're out to steal something from you or take your position or whatever. And so that is a lack of empathy. But if you are all like relaxed together and your brains are all triggering like mine is right now, and you're talking, and even if you're talking about very heavy things together, there's going to be a lot more kindness and like listening between everybody. It's pretty magical. It's pretty magical. And so like in Japan, or even in China, like if you've ever gone to do business in China and you sat in like the conference room, they bring out a big pot of tea and they share tea with everybody. All right, I don't think I like this either. Maybe a string quartet. Let's try that. I didn't like that. Now that is an opera, Tef. That was an opera. I don't know about that. Bitcoin, what are you doing, boy? He keeps like twerking up against me. Weirdo. We're listening to classical music. Oh, I gotta look who that is. Let's see if it's a compliment or not. Someone says I look like somebody, but before I say who it is, I gotta make sure I'm not getting trolled. Yeah. How is that a compliment? I guess. Who is this? A comedian. Cool. Yeah, I guess so. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. Thank you for the compliment. Sometimes you don't know. Like when I was in 4th grade, I told my substitute teacher that I thought he looked like a... No, it was a woman. I said, I thought you looked like a female version of Louis Anderson. And turns out that wasn't a compliment. Turns out it wasn't. But hey guys, thank you so much for joining me today. You can find me all over these places. Follow me. See me again. Bye. All right, that was fun. My Reddit stream is done, or it's supposed to be done. Why is it still going? Well, this is cool. If it's still going, let's just flow with it. I usually get kicked off Reddit after like 45 minutes. Oh, okay, this is nice. I like this. What is that? Gymnopedic? Is that a word? I'm gonna look it up. Oh, it is. It was a yearly celebration during which naked youths displayed their athletic and martial skills through the medium of war dancing. War dancing? Cool. Why'd you bring that up, Brian? Oh, that's what you want to listen to? Is this what we're listening to now? Oh, Bitcoin. Let's see. We can listen to that. No problemo. I promise you guys I'm going to get to this lit review. This is the whole purpose of why I'm doing this stream today. Yeah, I can't find it. It's not in this database that I'm working with. My neighbors are having a party. Good for them. Usually, like, no one is here in the entire building after 5 p.m. Let's get this music. Something else with green tea, if you get into the habit of drinking green tea a lot. Oh, thank you for the wholesome. I think you're pretty wholesome too. Let's see, if I'm sure if I went onto YouTube, I'd find something. Bitcoin is over here dancing, man. Dancy boy. You know why? Because he wants chicharron. Yeah, I'll look it up for the next time, Brian. I'll have it lined up and ready for us the next time. You want to come up? Are you ready for the ASMR portion of this stream, Bitcoin? Have a seat. No, you've got to turn. You got to turn. You got to turn that way. Yeah, it's interesting. I haven't gotten kicked off of Reddit yet. All right, that's it, Bitcoin. That's it for now. All right, let's get it. Let's get smart, guys. I'm on Google Scholar now, and I'm gonna look up some information. About, so this is what I'm gonna look up. I'm looking for articles, EGCG in brain repair. So EGCG and theanine are the two main compounds that are important to look at in tea and brain health. So I wanted to look at what research. Bitcoin. Yes. Have a seat, please. Okay. And so there's an article here titled "Delayed Treatment with Green Tea Polyphenol (EGCG) Promotes Neurogenesis After Ischemic Stroke in Adult Mice." So this is a research study on mice specifically. It looks like I am going to only get the abstract here, which is fine. A lot of times the abstract is enough to give you an understanding of what research was being done in the article. Bitcoin, can you be polite and have a seat? Thank you. You've been down this path, Brian? What have you learned? All right, so epigallocatechin 3 gallate, EGCG. So we'll just call it EGCG from this point on. The predominant constituent of green tea has been demonstrated to be neuroprotective against acute ischemic stroke. I don't even know what that means. I gotta look up that word really fast. Bitcoin, you cut your head out. You can't be like that, buddy. No one can see you. It's one of the types of stroke. It's caused by a blockage in an artery that supplies blood to the brain. Okay. Ah, Bitcoin, so you lose your head. Oh, I lose Bitcoin's head. However, the long-term actions of EGCG on neurogenesis and functional recovery after ischemic stroke has not been identified. In this study, mice underwent middle cerebral artery occultation, followed by, what is reperfusion? Reperfusion. A lot of words here I gotta learn. Yeah, Brian, if you want to share a link or you want to share what you've learned in these things, feel free. This is tissue damage caused when blood supply returns to tissue after a period of ischemia or lack of oxygen. Neuroprogenitor cells were isolated from At 14 days, the effect of EGCG on the proliferation and differentiation of NPCs were examined in vivo and in vitro. Behavioral assessments were made 3 days before. Blah, 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 blah. After screening for multiple signaling pathways, the AKT signaling pathway was found to be involved in EGCG-mediated proliferation and neuronal differentiation of NPCs in vitro. Taken together, our results reveal a previously uncharacterized role of EGCG in the augment of proliferation and neuronal differentiation. There you go, Bitcoin. Good boy. Good boy. Taken together, our results reveal a previously... Okay. Thus, the beneficial effects of EGCG on neurogenesis and stroke recovery should be considered in developing therapeutic approaches. All right. So yeah, I'm not going to buy this article and read the full one. You know, I'm just looking at the abstract here. When is this from? This is from 2016, so relatively newer research coming from China, it looks like. I know China's done a lot of really great research on tea as well. Oh, well, that was nice, right? That was fun. So I know there's been a lot of research on Alzheimer's. And sonic hedgehog pathway activation. What is this? Something to do with sonic hedgehog? That's fun. All right, so here's what Brian had to share with us. And thank you so much, Brian. This is very useful. So Brian had a brain trauma group that used to come into the shop to host meetings. One of the persons in charge had a brain tumor removed. He lost 15 to 20% of the brain, swore by properties of EGCG and superior green teas helped him get back to normal brain patterns. Looking for that now, it was years ago. I know one of the benefits can be simply stated. Any new growth requires excellent oxygen, low stress, and minimal reduced inflammation. So that's a neuroregenesis. Neuroregenesis. So that's what we're looking for. That's good. You know, so even if you've had some trauma or some experience that may have affected, you know, your brain function, it does look like this EGCG is helpful in that. EGCG is also a very powerful antioxidant. You know, so, you know, most of the research that I have seen on EGCG is mostly with like cancer prevention versus, you know, this brain health stuff. But yeah, I wanted to talk about the brain today. Green tea, EGCG, promotes neutral progenitor cell proliferation and sonic hedgehog pathway activation during adult hippocampal neurogenesis. You're so cute, Bitcoin. You're a cute boy. Yeah. So let's see. Our results provide strong evidence that EGCG enhances adult hippocampal neurogenesis. I'm going to look that up really quick. Let's see what that is. Maybe there's a Wikipedia. Wikipedia is always fun. Easy. This is from Nature magazine. Accumulating evidence suggests that adult-born neurons may play distinct physiological roles in hippocampus-dependent functions, such as memory encoding and mood regulation. In addition, several brain diseases, such as neurological diseases and mood disorders, have... Okay, you're going down. It's time to go down. I know, he's going to start twerking again, but it's okay. I accept. In addition, several brain diseases such as neurological diseases and mood disorders have deleteriously effects on adult hippocampal neurogenesis, and some symptoms of those diseases can be partially explained by the dysregulation of adult hippocampal. Yeah, what? That's such an interesting word. I wonder what the root of this. So we make new, our brain still functions new and makes new even as adults. The hippocampus. Neurogenesis occurs during embryonic development and also in parts of the adult brain following birth. Adult neurogenesis is known to occur in 3 regions in the mammalian brain: the subgranular zone. Oh, I remember that from the other article we read. This is the region involved in regulating learning and memory. So I'm pretty sure that all of these things are all linked in with all of the Alzheimer's research and the Parkinson's research that has been done around EGCG. So there you go. Not only does tea help your brain focus, like in the now, like right now, we feel it right now when you drink good tea, but you know, after a lifetime of drinking good tea, you're gonna have more powerful neurogenesis function, which is always good, because then, you know, we're always gonna negate it when we drink that beer. Let's see what else we can get here. A lot of research on rat. I don't know if there's a lot of like human clinical trials that have been done just yet. So you got neuroprotective properties, so like it'll protect what's already there, which is great. But it's also interesting that it will help restore for future genesis, for future creation of neurons. Oh, this is interesting. So this one looks at its effect on Down syndrome. Can it alleviate symptoms of Down syndrome? Let's look at this one. So we get the abstract here. I'm gonna kind of skip most of it and get to the bottom. We conclude that known data accumulated so far provide promising evidence of MMP9 inhibition by EGCG in the brain, which could slow down the abnormal degradation of NGF. So NGF is nerve growth factor. All right, I'm interested now. I'm gonna read more of this. Down syndrome is a genetic disorder caused by the presence of all or part of a third copy of chromosome 21. Silencing these extra genes is beyond existing technology and seems to be impractical. A number of pharmacologic options have been proposed to change the quality of life and lifespan of individuals with Down syndrome. It was reported that treatment with EGCG improves cognitive performance in animal models and in humans, suggesting that EGCG may alleviate symptoms of Down syndrome. Traditionally, EGCG has been associated with the ability to reduce dual specificity tyrosine phosphorylation regulated casein 1A activity. I think it's okay, we don't know. Which is overexpressed in Down syndrome. Based on the data available in the literature, we propose an additional way in which EGCG might affect Down syndrome, namely by modifying the proteolytic activity of the enzymes involved. It is known that in Down syndrome, the nerve growth factory metabolic pathway is altered. I want to know what that is. First, by down-regulating tissue plasminogen activator that activates plasminogen to plasmin, an enzyme converting pro-NGF to mature NGF. Secondly, overexpression of MMP9 further degrades NGF, lowering the amount of mature NGF. EGCG inhibits MMP9, thus protecting NGF. All right, now to know what this NGF is. And we got more comments from Brian I'll share. Brian says the most common polyphenols of green tea is the flavonoids, and the most significant portion, 80-90% of flavonoids, is catechins. The four main catechins in green tea include EGCG, EGC, ECG, and EC, in an abundance of 60, 20, 14, and 6% respectively. Catechins exert antioxidant activity by scavenging free radicals, inducing endogenous antioxidant enzymes activation, as well as binding to divalent metals. So that's the cancer reduction function of the catechins, which is great. And that's something that will affect all of the body, not just the brain. Thank you, Brian, for sharing that with us. Smarty pants. I approve. But yeah, we're talking about brain function. And, you know, I'm sure that there's overlap. And something else to, I want to remind people, you know, we're talking about all of these great benefits of the catechins in tea, but polyphenols attach themselves to proteins. And so if you're taking your tea with any type of milk, dairy or nut milk, they all have protein. Your antioxidant, you know, power and benefit from the tea is significantly reduced when you take it with milk. So when you have milk tea, or you have a latte, or you have something like that. Oh, hey Mike, good to see you. Good to see you, brother. Yeah, if you take your tea with milk, you're definitely not going to be getting all of these great benefits that Brian just mentioned to us. I want to see what that is. So Brian says that the divalent metal reduction is important. So I'll look that up as well. My brother just asked a question. Yay! We'll look at that. We shall look at that. Challenge my brain. My brain's feeling pretty good still. I'm about to drink some more tea. It's going to feel even better. All right, so Michael asked, so if you brew fresh tea before processing, is there benefits? Maybe, because all of these compounds that we're talking about are there, you know, and in addition, all of the like protective mechanisms, you know, such as tannin. And you know, from now on, I am just going to like use the word tannin to describe all of that, even though tannin is a very specific thing. But in the article that I was reading a few days ago about tannin, they describe tannins to be like the ultimate bioweapon. They destroy everything. They, you know, because they denature amino acids. So, you know, a lot of these things that we're talking about have amino acids as components of them. And so once the tannins are released, you know, they're potentially going to destroy all those good things. And so when the tea is fresh, like what Mike just asked, if you brew fresh tea leaf, then it's possible. I mean, I'm just using like logic in my head right now. Like I'm not referencing a scientific paper on this. And hopefully in some, you know, future date with our influence on the academic world, we will see some research to back up what I'm saying here. But the tannins at the point of plucking off the tea plant before you start to process it, the tannins are not expressed. They're encapsulated in their little protective things. And so they haven't yet destroyed all these other really good compounds that we're looking for. So it's possible, but I haven't. Let me research the paper. Let me see if there's something in the research for that. Bitcoin, what are you doing, boy? Oh, okay. So you're saying that the metal reduction is part of the Alzheimer's research with the aluminum in Alzheimer's. This is an interesting article in Food Chemistry from the University of Hawaii. I'm seeing if I know these people because I did tea research. You know, the University of Hawaii had a grant from the USDA to do research on tea, and I had done some research part of that grant. So I got to meet a lot of the people, but I don't know any of these folks. Song, Kelman, Johns, and Wright. So this is from Food Chemistry. Correlation between leaf age, shade levels, and characteristic beneficial natural constituents of tea. I know this doesn't exactly answer your question, Mike, but you may find something interesting. And plus it's in Hawaii. We always love Hawaii. Unique investigation of leaf age and shade on 6 important components found in tea. Components analyzed were L-theanine, caffeine, EGCG, EGC, EC, and ECG. All of those catechins we just listed before. Thanks, Brian. First study of its type on Hawaiian-grown tea. Results show L-theanine and caffeine levels decrease with leaf age, and catechin levels increase. So that's interesting. So, you know, there's not a correlation between theanine and catechin. Concentration of catechin EGC increased up to 10-fold in moving from the bud to the second leaf. Right? Okay, so when we're talking about leaf age, we're talking about you know the size of the leaf. So let me just show this. So we're talking about leaf age. So like they said, the bud. So like from the bud to the first leaf, the content of the catechin reduces, or it increases tenfold from the. Wait. I'm sorry, let me read that again. Concentration of the catechin EGC increased up to tenfold in moving from the bud to the second leaf. So from the bud has the least amount, and then this is going to have more, and that's going to have more, and that's going to have more. So, I'm assuming that there's got to be, you know, like there's got to be an end to it, because you really can't consume, you know, the really old leaf that's like really down there. You really can't consume it, but. This is interesting research, and I'm surprised that I haven't come across this, because in Hawaii specifically, like with the research that I did while I was at the university, we found that there is a big issue with thinking about what to do with the more mature leaf. Like the farmers will have to prune. They prune the leaf, they prune the bushes before the winter season, and so there's all this leaf that's there. And currently in the industry, that's just compost usually. And so the university was thinking, oh, well, is there things that we can do with it? And if it's true that the catechin level increases as the leaf is more mature, as the more leaf down on the bush, then that means that all of that leaf could be a good source for extraction of catechins for, you know, medicinal or supplemental use. So that's interesting. That is very interesting. So it says, see the whole article. Show more. Oh, that's because these guys were at Hilo. I was at results and discussion. Show full outline. Figures. I guess I can't see. Get access? Oh, I have to go through my... I'm not a student anymore. But we can look at the pictures at least, maybe? Nope, not letting me click on any of that. Well, that's fine. That's fine. But yeah, I definitely should try to get my hands on this article. Read it in full detail. So yeah, if you're looking for the brain focus, then you should get teas that are more tippy. So tippy teas are teas that have, you know, high concentrations of the bud in it. So then you're gonna have more of the L-theanine, and so that's that mental focus, body relaxation. But then if you're looking for neurogenesis, and you're looking for you know, all of these benefits of antioxidants and helping protect the brain function, then you're gonna want teas that are made with more of the banja leaf. So banja, that's like mature leaf. So that's interesting. So then I wonder if some correlation with like oolong and black teas tend to be made with the more mature leaf, and white and green teas tend to be made with the like earlier harvest, younger leaf. I don't know, Brian, what do you think about that? You thought about that? I think maybe oolong tea, because like oolong and black tea are made with like the more mature leaf, oolong more so than black, and then oolong has less processing applied to it, so that's less chance for things like the tannins and the other compounds in the tea to break those things down. Capillary electrophoretic determination of theanine, caffeine, and catechins in fresh tea leaves and oolong tea, and their effects on rat neurosphere adhesion and migration. And so this is from Agriculture and Food Chemistry, another well-respected, peer-reviewed journal. And let's see what their conclusion is here. Fresh tea leaves or oolong tea extract. Oh, so they're using tea extract, so that doesn't help. Markedly inhibited neurosphere adhesion, cell migration, and neurite outgrowth in rat neurospheres. Theanine and caffeine at high concentration did not inhibit neurosphere adhesion or migration activities, but EGCG at 20 micrograms per milliliter effectively inhibited neurosphere adhesion for 24 hours. These results indicated that EGCG might affect neurostem cell survival or differentiation. Oh, hi Faith. Well classic tonight. Yes, it's classic because we're helping our brains today. You know, we're helping our brains. And, you know, ooh, sorry guys, I need my brain. And I heard somewhere from someone that classical music is good for the brain. And if it puts you to sleep, you're welcome. So what do you think about them apples? I would like to see an article not on oolong extract. I mean, extracts is like, you're too excitable. Well, that's good. drink some tea. That might help calm you down. You know, it's a Friday night. We should be calm. We should be lively, but we should be calm. You know, it's a good way to have it. The classic music is excitable. Good. I'm happy for that. I hope you had a great day, Faith. Thank you so much for joining tonight. I also had a great day. I had a beautiful meeting with a dear friend that I haven't seen in months. Due to the pandemic, you know, he's been spending a lot of time at home with his daughter, not really going out much, but we decided it was time. And his daughter, very eloquent, 13-year-old is interested in making a cooking show and making a YouTube channel. And so I am very excited to approach her to do some work together. So you want to take a look at this beautiful tea. Dramatic tea brewing today because I can. No, I'm not drinking milk oolong. I am drinking green tea. I'm drinking a very fresh green tea that Kuni-san from Matcha Organic Japan sent me. So this is it. Look how cute. Kawaii. Kawaii. Yeah, so this is just a really fresh green tea. I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like. Beautiful, huh? You can see the color. Very deep green. So that deep green, like this deep green that you're seeing right there, like that's an indicator of your theanine content in the tea. So that's why I'm getting excitable myself, Faith, just from the tea. It's good. The tea is good. It has a very rich umami to it, which is always fun. Oh. Thanks, Brian. Where is this sourced from? So Brian sent over a little figure here. Trinocatechins and xanthins presence as oxidation increases. All right, so oxidation is, this is a processing term. So that's, all tea comes from the same plant, right? But it's how you process it, you get the different teas. And it's the oxidation process that's what really differentiates the different types of tea. So you have like, green tea has the least amount of oxidation, then, you know, the white tea doesn't have much, but it's not, you know, denatured like the green tea is, and then oolong, and then black tea. And within the oolong range, there is a wide range of oxidation that can be applied. So as oxidation increases, catechin content decreases, and the xanthines content increases. So what's this xanthines? Yeah. But so the question that I had, Brian, though, was like more about like the content of the fresh leaf. So that article from Hawaii found that the more mature the leaf was, the more bongy the leaf was, the higher the catechin content was. So oxidation may reduce the amount of catechin, but the amount of catechin from the start of processing may be higher for oolong and black teas. But it just says how much the oxidation affects these Oh, so caffeine is a xanthine. So it's saying that caffeine content increases. What? What? No, okay, so that's a new one for me. Brian, please help me with this one. So this chart is saying that as oxidation increases, the xanthine content increase, i.e. caffeine increases. Where is this research from? What is this citing? Because in all research that I've looked up, you know, in the process of oxidation, which requires some minimal heat, there's a lot of release of the caffeine during that time. So maybe it's possible that they're saying that there's like more caffeine produced, but there's going to be a release of it through the processing. Yeah, Brian, how do we reconcile this? This is like the oldest thing that we're always like debating about is, you know, Tivana always told people that caffeine level in tea went from green tea having the least to black tea having the most, which would be in alignment with this chart, but we've had to like correct everybody's understanding on that. Yeah, I'd like to see what this reference is. I can't, let me try to zoom in and see this fine print at the bottom. Yeah, I mean, this is corporate marketing. I don't know if I trust this. Green tea is very energetic, yeah, definitely. That's why I'm all energized. It's not just the classical music. Not just that. Oh, let's do a little cello in honor of our good friend, our dear friend, Cello Joe. Yeah, this is a deep, like it's a website that's not even loading. This company that published that chart. Yeah, so you don't know the source of it. That's okay. I don't think that that's correct. Oh, thank you, we art tag for the follow. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Hope you enjoy our educational tea content. Yeah, the website's still not loading. I don't trust that chart, but thank you for the visualization. But I'm gonna research this about the xanthians and oxidation. That's interesting. You know, I really do want to be able to like wrap my head around all of this so I can better explain to people. Because it's one thing to be able to tell people, all right, here's a simplistic of it. Like this type of tea is going to have more of this and that type of tea is going to have more of that. But like, I really do want to understand these things because a lot of the teas that we work with are what I call New World teas. So these are teas like being processed in like new growing regions where they're new. Sometimes it's like a new style of process that the farmer has to come up with. And so there's not going to be like a peer review paper that I can cite to say, oh, this is how much caffeine's in it. You know, may have to make some inferences and you know, conclusions about how much caffeine and theanine and catechin is in the tea. So let's like go to the bottom of this one. The analytical results obtained indicated that green teas contain higher content of catechins, than both oolong, pu'er, and black teas because fermentation process during the tea manufacturing reduce the levels of catechins significantly. And I think they mean the fermentation as in the oxidation process. There's always a lot of confusion because this is a Chinese article, yes. And so in Chinese language, they use the translated word of fermentation to mean oxidation. So it's not fermentation of maybe what you're thinking. Although there is a fermentation process with like pu'er tea. Oh my god, I'm so tea drunk right now. You can't believe it. I can't even keep up with the amount of words that want to come to my mouth right now. But yeah, that's what I meant to say. The fermentation process also remarkably elevated the levels of gallic acid and full fermented pu'er and black teas. Another interesting finding is the low level of caffeine in oolong teas, especially in Fujian oolong teas. Well, Fujian oolong teas, which is the original place of oolong tea, they do a lot of roasting on their oolong teas. Yeah, they do a lot of roasting. And so roasting, just like with coffee beans, when you put, coffee beans in the roaster, that heat, there's a lot of caffeine that evaporates out of the coffee beans. So same thing in the tea. So that's why the Fujian oolong teas tend to have. But I guess like tea kuan yin, Chinese tea kuan yin, that's Fujian, and that's more of a green. It just depends on, that's so weird, like, you read these research papers and they always use like one specific thing. And, it's always good to go to like the Japanese and the Chinese research because they're actually using like real tea. But like, if you like look at a paper done by like an American researcher, they're like, oh yeah, we use Lipton tea bag to represent black tea, and we used, this green tea bag to represent green tea, and that's what we did our test on. And it's like, that's not a good representation of the type of tea that we're trying to talk about. Like, if we're really trying to look at tea from a medicinal perspective, we really do need to look at like the highest quality stuff, the stuff that's going to give us, the best readings. So this paper is interesting. Variation of catechin content in relation to quality of oolong tea in various growing altitudes and seasons. This looks interesting. The contents of catechin in oolong tea were positively and significantly correlated to the taste score and quality score of the oolong tea. Boom! There it is. Drink good tea. Thus, the contents of EGCG, CG, and TC could be the important quality parameters of oolong tea. This work suggested that the production of Huangxixiang All right, this is important. I'm gonna read this. So the work suggested that the production of this tea grown at low altitudes should utilize the autumn tea leaves, while the production of oolong tea grown at high altitudes can use both the spring and autumn tea leaves. So the autumn tea leaves are the more mature tea leaves. I want to read this article now, man. This is something to learn right here. Purchase it. I can rent it. So that's the orange blossom, dansung. Thank you, Faith. Faith, I hope you're having a good night. All right, I will come back to that and I will rent it or buy it or whatever. I'll access it. So, you know, I have heard of this health benefit. This is not relating to the brain, but, you know, people are always asking, like, the green tea is the only one I've seen that's healthy. And it's like, no, they're all healthy. Oolong tea, one of its main health benefits is that it helps increase metabolic rate and fat oxidation. So that's why if you drink or if you eat a really heavy, greasy meal, you're gonna drink an oolong tea as well as pu'er tea. I've heard that pu'er tea helps too, but oolong in particular will help digest. Oh, there's the source. Thank you so much, Brian. Oh, Brian, you're working harder than me, man. Thank you. When 31 commercial teas extracted by boiling water or 75% ethanol were analyzed by HPLC, the levels of catechin in teas were in the order green tea from old leaves, green tea from young leaves, oolong tea, black tea, and pu'er tea. Okay, so yeah, this is about catechin levels. Oh, and caffeine too, so let's see the caffeine one. The content of caffeine and catechins has been measured in fresh tea leaves from the tea experiment station. The old tea leaves contain less caffeine but more catechin than the young ones. To compare caffeine and catechins in the same tea, but manufactured by different fermentation processes, the level of caffeine in different manufactured teas was in... I'm sorry, I'm not sharing this article with you all. I have it right here. Okay. So, tea drunk and pizza. Man, that sounds like heaven, Brian. The level of caffeine in different manufacturers' teas was in the order of black tea, oolong tea, green tea, and fresh tea leaf, but the levels of catechin were in the order of green tea, oolong tea. In addition, 6 commercial tea extracts were used to test biological functions, including hydroxyl radical scavenging, nitric acid suppressing, and apoptotic effects. The pu'er tea extracts protected the plasmid DNA from damage by the Fenton reaction, as well as the control at a concentration of 100 micrograms per milliliter. The nitric oxide suppressing effect of tea extract was in the order of pu'er to black tea to green tea to oolong tea. That's interesting. This is the first time, and I like how this research was set up because they took the same raw leaf and they processed it into the different types of tea to do this, to analyze the caffeine content of the different teas. And it says here, it went from order of black, oolong, green, and fresh, the caffeine level. That just blows my mind because that is completely against, the theory before. And then maybe Tivana was right the whole time. I still don't believe this. I'll have to get this article too and read it. I wish I was a student. Could access all of these things. But yeah, I wanted to look at this oolong article. Has a long discussion. Let's see the abstract. Yeah, Brian, like, yeah, the basics are under observation. And it's crazy to think about that because it's like this is something that, like, has been a, like, big business for so long, and yet we know so little of it. And, you know, it's just like the article on F. Tivana. Yeah, was Tivana actually right the whole fucking time? Yeah, the article I was reading a few days ago on tannins was the same thing. It was like, here's something that, like, we just discovered. They had discovered an entire new organelle in plant cells in 2013. Yeah, 2013. That's like less than 10 years ago. You know, you think about the plant cell, like, think about, like, basic high school biology. We learned, like, oh, here's what the plant cell looks like. Here's this, here's that, here's that. It's simple. Like, we've known that stuff for hundreds of years. Yet in 2013, scientists were like, oh shit, there's this whole other organelle that we didn't even know existed and how it functioned. And that's the organelle that produces tannins. So, I mean, yeah, we're still not knowing these things. It's still very basic understanding of what's going on. And so there's probably more to this point on caffeine that you brought up that probably still needs more research and more understanding. The increase over water alone represented an additional expenditure of 281 and 331 kilojoules per, I don't know what the D is, for subjects treated with full-strength tea and caffeinated water, respectively. In addition, fat oxidation was significantly higher, 12%, when subjects consumed the full-strength tea rather than water. So this is interesting. Drink tea. It's good. The effect of caffeine on metabolic rate has been well documented. So yeah, they're even talking about, like, what time of the day to consume your caffeine to help with this stuff. So yeah, if you're wanting to look at tea as, like, a health benefit for weight loss, this is the stuff you need to be researching. It has been widely assumed that the metabolic effects of beverages containing caffeine have been due to their caffeine content. It is clear from the results of the study and others that the consumption of tea both elevates metabolic rates and increases fat oxidation. However, it is not entirely clear whether these effects can be attributed to caffeine alone. In the current study, the full-strength tea and caffeinated water resulted in comparable increases in EE. However, in their most recent study, they observed no effect of caffeine alone, but the significant increase in metabolic rate when green tea extract was a source of caffeine. And here's EGCG again. So the EGCG works with the caffeine to affect metabolic rate as well. But oolong tea is low in catechins, so if they're saying that oolong tea is the good one for that, then the catechin may not be the main active ingredient. Main thing, as certainly haven't read the whole article, more at question younger versus mature leaves. At least according to this abstract, the old tea leaves, and I read this as unprocessed, contain less caffeine, but more EGCG and total catechins than young ones. Yes. Yeah. So, but then does the processing on the tea have a bigger effect on it than the the age of the tea leaf that's used for processing the tea. So yeah, so the catechin does not significantly affect the caffeine's effect on our metabolic rates. So that's out the window. Yeah, if you're looking for the EGCG, drink more. Wait, yeah. Drink more old tea leaf. But I've always read in studies in regards to green tea that green tea has the highest content of EGCG. And green tea is typically you're using the youngest leaf versus the older leaf. Older leaf is used for oolong, black and oolong tea. So that's what's kind of conflicting here. It raises the possibility that tea consumption could have some beneficial effect on the individual's ability to maintain a lower body fat content. However, any beneficial effect would only be realized if the effect was sustained upon chronic consumption of tea. Chronic. I'm chronic. Leave me alone. And the individual did not compensate with greater food intake in response to tea consumption. So this goes back to what I said at the very beginning of this whole conversation, that in order to really realize the health benefits of tea, it has to be a chronic thing, chronic consumption. You got to be chronic, man. You can't just drink it for a week and say, okay, yeah, I'm all fixed. Like, it's chronic. Chronic. I mean, look how much research is here. There's so much. So Brian says that you've understood that catechins break down with oxidation into other particulates. Yeah, that makes sense. Because a catechin, let's see, structure of catechin. Yeah, so they're relatively unstable and easily oxidize. So that makes sense. So then that your theory of using, okay, so green tea coming from more mature leaves. But here's the issue with green tea coming from mature leaves is then there's more agriculture chemicals in the tea because more mature leaves can't be harvested until like the summer or the autumn. And for most tea growing regions, the summer and the autumn is when they have like really bad pest problems. So they use a lot of pesticides and herbicides during that time. So, you know, you may say, okay, let's make our green tea from the older, if it's not certified organic, organic biodynamic growing, it's very possible that you could actually be negating that whole thing and taking in more free radicals than antioxidants Interesting, huh, Brian? So yeah, they're easily oxidized. And they change, and then they don't become as useful for us. So that's why you want the green teas. So it looks like, I mean, after reading all of this, like, because I went into this thinking, okay, it's matcha. Matcha is the magic, because matcha has the highest amount of the theanine in it, and it has the, you know, high levels of catechins. That's been a lot of the research coming out of Japan. But I was like, I was holding space for that to be different. But now I see, you know, if you really are trying to approach tea as a medical thing, trying to address something to really like rebuild neurogenesis and stability in the body, you know, stability of your chi, matcha is going to be the best, I think. I think so. What do you think, Brian? Do you think that's a good assessment? And sweet matcha. So sweet matcha is going to be having more of the theanine. But then you would want matcha coming from like the second harvest. I don't know. I'm feeling inspired to like send samples to the lab now because like I want to test it myself. I want to know the truth. I want to know all the truth. What else should we look at? What else should we read? What was I looking at? EC? Okay, so catechin levels in oolong tea. I guess I answered that one. I'm gonna look up a theanine article for us. I know like most people that have looked at, you know, health benefits, brain health benefits of tea usually talk about L-theanine. Release of alpha brain waves. What's that? Alpha. Alpha waves are neural oscillations in the frequency range of 8 to 12 hertz, likely originating from the synchronous and coherent electrical activity of thalamic pacemaker cells in humans. Historically, they are also called Berger's waves, after Hans Berger, the inventor of EEG. Berger waves. So Brian says, not even joking, I've had a dozen dreams this last year of me owning a chemical laboratory, and in those dreams I have explored my own theories of many big chem questions I have, including the tea biggies. That's cool. Well, let me know when you set up your lab. I'll come over. Many of our questions are as informed people begin getting clouded by who's paying for the research. I hate that. Yeah, so that was like, Brian, you weren't here when I first like kind of introduced this stream, but I, you know, prefaced by saying that like looking at this research is great and this is the best way for us to understand the health benefits of tea, but we also have to understand that like the motivations and the funding of this research, you know, does affect its breadth, you know, because like only the researchers are only going to research what they're getting paid to research, and that's an unfortunate thing with our academic system. Is every single system we've just allowed corporations to influence. And you know, I'm not anti-corporate. I'm a CEO of an international corporation. I think corporations are very powerful human institutions, man-made institutions that we should be proud of, but that at the same time we should understand, you know, where their role is. Their role is definitely not in controlling and influencing how things like knowledge base. So like what we're talking about here is knowledge base, like academic knowledge base. That's like human rights. You know, corporations should also not be protecting human rights. They certainly can be helping with and being involved with, but to completely be like influencing it and controlling it wholly is not the way we should be running it. Milk does the body good, paid for by the dairy industry. Yes. Yeah, corporations are very, you know, someone had told me that before and it really influenced me. I'm like, yeah, you're right. They say corporation is like even more powerful than government as far as like a man-made institution. And with that power and that influence, we got to understand the responsibility behind that. We can't let them run everything and do everything. So I'm going in on a 4th steep on this tea. It's definitely not going to be as rich and yummy as the first couple of steeps, but it's still good. It's still good. So yeah, I just want to talk about L-theanine a little bit. Everybody loves a little L-theanine. It holds well. Yes, thank you. Hold me closer, tiny sencha. Hold me closer. I might be a little tea delirious now. Oh, and look at this. Funded by Unilever Food and Health Research Institute. Just what we were talking about, Brian. These data indicate that L-theanine at realistic dietary levels has a significant effect on the general state of mental alertness and arousal. Furthermore, alpha activity is known to play an important role in critical aspects of attention, and further research is therefore focused on understanding the effect of L-theanine on attentional processes. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. The current study demonstrated that L-theanine significantly modulates the resting state of brain activity. L-theanine enhanced the power of the alpha-1 frequency band, replicating previous reports. In the current experiment, the power of the alpha band increased linearly with time, and this linear increase was significantly enhanced by L-theanine. This increase in alpha band activity supports a role for L-theanine in achieving a relaxed but alert mental state via a direct influence on the central nervous system. These results have since been replicated under ecologically valid conditions in which participants passively watched television. It was notable that L-theanine was able to elevate the level of alpha-1 even under the situation in which participants are already highly relaxed and entertained. Furthermore, activity in the alpha band is also a key component in focused attentional processes. Directed deployed of alpha appears to be critical to the ability to suppress distracting visual information during highly demanding tasks. Recently, L-theanine has been shown to enhance this so-called alpha attention effect also. I'm going to read that again. Directed deployment of alpha appears to be critical to the ability to suppress distracting visual information during highly demanding tasks. So that's that focus. And right here, so like a highly demanding task could be trying to fall asleep. And you have all of these distractions that just keep going on. So, and let's see. I'm going to try to find some research on meditation affecting alpha brain function, brain wave, burger waves. When your brain's alpha waves are dominating, you're likely in a state of wakeful relaxation. Relaxation techniques like mindfulness and meditation may help increase your alpha waves. This in turn may help you feel calmer, less anxious, and according to some studies, may even boost your creativity levels. Voila. Voila. What do you think about that? I like this. We got some brains here. So what's this red? Let's see. Average power plotted on a schematic top view of the scalp for L-theanine and control at 5 successive times after ingested. Activity was higher in the L-theanine group than the control for alpha-1. So this is the amount of minutes. So, and look how it's a sustained release. Look, so 45 minutes after consuming the 50 milligrams of L-theanine versus an hour and a half later, over an hour and a half later, how much more alpha-1 activity there is. So that means if you're going to take a shot of matcha, you know, this reaction, you know, sometimes when you first take the matcha, you may feel like a jolt of energy. That is literally the caffeine doing that for you. But the alpha-1 waves, that's like the relaxing focus part, this meditative mindfulness part, that doesn't really start kicking in until over an hour later. That's incredible. Had you ever seen this, Brian? This is pretty cool. I'd never seen this figure. I liked that article. Conscious rats. But the rats are woke now? What is that? This looks like a good one. There's a lot of words here. Okay. Neurobiological effects of the green tea constituent theanine and its potential role in the treatment of psychiatric and neurodegenerative disorders. So it says theanine also elicits improvements in cognitive function, including learning and memory in human and animal studies, possibly via a decrease in the NMDA-dependent CA1 long-term potentiation, an increase in NMDA-independent CA1 LTP. Furthermore, theanine administration elicits selective changes in alpha brain wave activity with concomitant increases in selective attention during the execution of mental tasks. Emerging studies also demonstrate a promising role for theanine in augmentation therapy for schizophrenia, while animal models of depression report positive improvements following theanine administration. A handful of studies are beginning to examine a putative role in attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Theoretical extrapolations to a therapeutic role for theanine in other psychiatric disorders such as anxiety disorders, panic disorders, obsessive compulsive disorder, and bipolar disorder are discussed. Interesting. So yeah, that's interesting. I've only like had experience with somebody like using tea to like self-medicate themselves for mental health one time, and I was really kind of hesitant, because like he was wanting me to tell him, this is going to help with this. This is going to be good for your brain on this. This is going to be, and like, I didn't know his condition exactly. He told me, like he had some, mental conditions, and that he was on these medications too. So that's another thing, when someone tells you I'm on these medications and I'm actually looking to get off of them, do you think tea can help? And I'm like, talk to your doctor. And unfortunately right now, Oh yeah, Faith, I remember that. Unfortunately, right now, doctors are, are the doctors not reading all these articles that we just went over? Because they're not prescribing tea, or they're not, they're not integrating, even nutrition. So like, I'm a food scientist, but before I was a food scientist, I was in dietetics. I was, Purple Rain, Faith, you know all about that. Yeah. I was in, like a registered dietitian's program, and I got out of it because I was like, to be a dietitian, you have to work in a hospital. And when I heard the stories of dietitians working in hospitals and what that condition was like for them in like modern medicine, like each one of them that would come in like mentor classes and stuff, they'd be like, yeah, I had to work at the hospital for a year and I got out as quickly as I could because, you can know everything about diet and work with your patients and find out what's best for them utilizing research like what we did today. And you go to the patient and you tell them, hey, you're going to need to eat this, this, and this and have that and that and that. And here's the reason why. And it's like a complete like change on their lifestyle. And then right after the doctor comes in and says, oh, here's a thing of pills. Just take this pill once a day. Like the patients are going to much rather, like the pill idea versus like a whole 360 on their lifestyle. And you're always going to be facing that challenge of being second best to the doctor, second best to the medications versus, really being able to help people utilizing science. Like this is not like, voodoo stuff we're talking about. Like this is real science. Like I know we're talking about a plant, some hippie shit, but it's like, there's the science to back it up. Yeah. So yeah, Brian, when he started mentioning meds and stuff, I was like, I can't do anything. Talk to your doctor. Talk to his doctor. Doctor told him, you could try it. Like, there's nothing that's been, researched to find that there are complications when mixing these things together. And he did. He said that he felt different. He said that he felt better. And actually, I got a phone call from his mother telling me, I never met her in person. She got my phone number from him and was like, oh, you sell tea to my son. I just wanted to call and tell you, thank you. My son has never been so healthy before. Please never stop selling him that tea. And, but I think he got off his meds, and things, went out of whack. And, I, hadn't heard from him since. So, yeah, it's tricky when you start, talking about like mental health and tea, especially if someone's already being treated in different ways. Yeah, it's a tricky one. So Brian says he's always taught L-theanine is higher in green tea. L-theanine is excellent for focus. Also, if caffeine sensitive, L-theanine balances or levels the caffeine spike. So yes, both green tea and black tea have caffeine, black having more, but green tea lops off the caffeine spike and sustains its length for stimulation time. Michael says, I feel that there's a good body waves happening when I was on the last roulette table in Vegas on CBD. All right. Yeah, similar effects that you've had with matcha and other good teas. I get it. I believe that. I think that there's like that's another whole area in CBD, and perhaps I'll do another stream similar to this, just looking at CBD. And the research that's been published so far on that, because that's another miracle compound from a miracle plant that we should celebrate. Brian says you had a talk argument with a PhD in pharmacy medicine who said, and paraphrased, garlic fills your stomach and might taste good. Medicine from a doctor heals. Yeah, my brother's a funny one. So Tef says the old idea is that having the life change would be better for the patient, and the pills are supposed to boost that effect, but not to have the success in themselves. Sadly enough, we as a humanity would rather have the easy way than the best way. Yeah. But this space where we are right now is for the good life. It's for the best life. And so we don't cut corners. You can't cut corners in the best life. You gotta live the best life. Drink good tea is part of the best life. And again, you know, you could read all the research. You can send all your tea samples to the labs and try to analyze, okay, this one's the highest level of this, and this one's the highest level of that, and that one's the highest level of that. But at the end of the day, none of that's going to mean shit unless you're drinking it every day. And not just one tea, but like you're drinking a lot of different ones every day. And the only way that you're going to fully realize that health benefit is if you actually enjoy the tea. And that's part of just living that better life. Living that best life. No one likes taking medicine. They really don't. I know like people think that that's the easier way, and like then they consciously choose, okay, I'm gonna do medicine, I'm gonna take this medicine, but I don't really actually like it. The longer I had my shop, the more direct I was how I recommend tea as medicine. That's interesting. I want to never giving an absolute, but being very direct. What does that mean, Brian? I want to know more what you mean by that. So Brian, who's been commenting through Facebook, interacting and giving us so much great information during this talk, he used to have a tea shop in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And yeah, he said that the longer he had the shop, the more direct he was in recommending tea as medicine. Never giving an absolute, but being very direct. Yeah, like why was that? I'm interested in what that means. And I'm sure a lot of viewers, especially tea business owners that are struggling with understanding, you know, what the best language we should be using in promoting tea as a health product. Yeah, it's confusing. It's hard. How about this one? Get a little Bitcoin at the bottom of my tea here. All right, more green tea. A little green tea treat here. I deserve it. I deserve it. I've done a lot of work today. Green tea chocolate. They say chocolate's good and they say green tea is good. So this is the most excellent. And there's a macadamia nut inside too. So macadamia nuts are also good. Well, this is not real chocolate. This is like white chocolate with matcha in it. And I bet you it's not even real matcha they use. So it's probably not, you know, having all of the L-theanine and the catechins. But then there's also proteins here. So the proteins all are making the catechins unavailable. Oh, on the good life, Brian. So Brian says that you started just simply asking, how is that working for you on medicine versus the lifestyle change? Slowing down, level thinking, stop that doesn't taste good because you didn't like it when you were 12. With tea, you give yourself the space to begin a road to the best life. Yeah. So if you're new here, guys, welcome. Welcome to the journey to the best life. We got first class tickets available for you. Enjoy the ride. Bitcoin says, I want to live the best life. Bitcoin does live the best life. He gets to sleep in all day. He gets treats whenever he looks cute. And that right there is the best life. He's always eating good too. Oh, what? Oh, did you hear him? Could you hear him? I need more best life. I need more. Oh, thanks, Brian. Thanks for cheersing the chocolate with me. I'm grateful. You know, if it's going to be any like mass-produced chocolate product, the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup is one of the better ones. The only reason why I say that is because it does not have high fructose corn syrup in it. That's an evil thing. That is like a direct ticket to the worst life. High fructose corn syrup. That's like, so I said, you know, we with the tea, with the good tea and the good life, well, we've got first class tickets straight to the good life. You go down the road with the high fructose corn syrup and you're taking Spirit all the way in the back row right next to the toilet to the worst life. But it's okay. They'll bring you little packets of pills to keep you alive. It'll be okay. But it's your choice. You know, we all have that choice. And actually, we can make that choice at any time in our life. Of course, the earlier we make it, the better. But, you know, it's never too late. It's never too late to put yourself on the train to the good life. Never too late. Huh, Bitcoin? Never too late. And if you're confused about what I'm saying and you don't have the confidence to chat and ask any question, you can email me. You can email Bitcoin. Bitcoin's got an email. You can direct message. You can say, hey, Bitcoin, let me know about that good life. What do you mean by that? And I'll be more than happy to share it with you. We have choice. But we have choice to make the better choice. Yeah, we have choice. We have choice. Huh, Bitcoin? Bitcoin's always going to choose the chicharron. I'm sorry. Even if you know, were in a total emergency, needed his help, he's still going to choose the chicharron. That's his best life. His perspective's a lot different than ours. Well, gee golly, guys, this has been super educational, really fun, and excellent. The best. I'm happy for this. I think I'm going to make this a thing. I think I'm going to make this a thing on Friday nights in this year, you know, to use my streaming platform to talk about the good life and how to get more of it. Right? I think that's good. I don't have a title for this stream. I'll have to come up with a title for this stream. First class ticket to the good life. Oh, the best life. That's it. I liked that. I liked how Tef worded it there. The best life. Lots of comfort pork. Nothing wrong with the pork as long as you have oolong tea, because the oolong tea gonna help oxidize all that fat so you can digest it and, you know, increase your metabolism. The best life jingle. It's the best life, living the best life. Choo choo. Bitcoin's into it. He's already dancing. There's not even a jingle yet and he's already dancing. Oh wow, this has been great, guys. I am grateful for this. I'm always grateful for you. It's always fun. It's always educational, inspiring, wonderful, beautiful. Best time of the week is a Friday night, and no better way to live it than sober. And if you gotta be drunk, be tea drunk. Really, if you gotta be, If you gotta be tea drunk. Yeah, that'll be good. I'm excited how everything is unfolding here. I know I've been, oh, sorry, it's Friday night. I gotta keep the ball rolling. I've been like organically building up this channel and the content that we do here. A lot of it's fun, some of it's very serious. And of course we have days like this that are more educational. And, I think I've learned a lot, and I'm seeing a vision now of, a real set of programming coming together for this channel. And I'm so excited for it. And ultimately, it's all content for this good life, for this best life. And, not all the content has to be educational. Not all of it has to be serious, and about civility. Like, it can be fun. It can be life skills and other things. So I'm really looking forward to what we put together this year on this channel. And I am grateful to have you part of this journey, to have you a part of this audience and community, interactive community that's helping me. Brian, thank you so much today in helping me. I'm sure I would have had more than enough on Google Scholar to keep me energized and going for this stream. But it's always great to have other people's perspective, because ultimately that's part of the best life too. Our best life, if we want to say pursuit of truth and pursuit of knowledge is a part of that best life, the only way we really can expand our capacity for truth is by increasing our perspective. And that involves inviting other people's perspective to help broaden our own. So all of you are a beautiful, amazing part of this journey to the best life. So thank you so much for being a part of it. Thank you, Faith. I love you guys. I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful, energizing, relaxing weekend, because that's what the weekends are for. Meditate yourself. Get those alpha 1 waves rolling, because they do you good, and they help you be more creative too. So, there's so many benefits to it. Yeah. All questions are important questions, even if they seem silly. They are all important. That is very true. Very, very true. Bitcoin. He's doing his little twerk over here again. Let's see. Who should we raid? Oh, Bitcoin. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We went for a very long walk today. I think what Bitcoin did we do? We did 7 miles today, huh? I can't believe he still has energy. I really can't. Someone playing Dungeons and Dragons? Oh, there's a potter. There's a potter that's going. We can go check out his clay. Oh, great. Yeah, let's go check him out. Some relaxing pottery wheel action. Cool. We will raid him. He doesn't do Teaware. I've asked him that before. But he's good. He's good. Very peaceful stream. This will be very good transition from all this brain talk, tea talk, to peaceful ceramic art. So everybody, again, I wish you a beautiful, healthy, relaxed, focused weekend, and I'll see you guys next week.